Happy Monday, once again, Leftofawesome. Okay, I apologize for not dancing like I usually do, but I have a really awful sunburn. It kind of hurts to move. Okay, so today, my mother is actually the one that gave me my idea for today's topic, because we were watching pointless television, basically, and there was a commercial for, Yaz or Seasonic or one of those birth control pills that's like, you only have to period once every 4 months and that crap. And I did a little digging around because one of my mother's favorite sayings has always been, if men got pregnant, there would be safe, legal birth control. And so I decided to do a little digging around about the bias in the birth control industry. And so I started with the two most common, contraceptive devices, which are condoms and birth control pills, hormonal birth control. And the side effects for hormonal birth control methods include weight gain, increase or decrease in acne, nausea and vomiting, particularly for the first few cycles, but not exclusively the first few cycles, dizziness, headaches, depression, vaginal infections, high blood pressure, loss of libido, and less common but serious health complications, blood clots in legs, lungs, heart or brain, strokes, liver tumors, heart attacks, gallstones, jaundice, cervical cancer, and then common side effects for progestin, which is a certain type of hormone used in some contraceptives, include spotting and irregular vaginal bleeding, longer periods, amenorrhea, which I'm not really sure what that is, for extended periods, headaches, anxiety, nervousness, pain in lower abdominals, dizziness, loss of libido, depression, increase or decrease in acne, skin rash, or darkened patches of skin, appetite changes, weight gain, tender breasts, increase or decrease in facial and body hair, hair loss, vaginal discharge, bone density loss, enlarged ovarian follicles, pain or itching, and then less common serious ones are ectopic pregnancies and cancer. Yeah. So the pill, which is basically, the most go-to sort of thing other than condoms and often used in conjunction with a condom, has all of these ridiculous side effects. Like, basically you could die, And then you have condoms, which are the only method of birth control which helps prevent STDs, STIs, AIDS, any of that stuff at all. And then you have the fact that you see condom commercials, not all the time, but you see them pretty frequently, especially as it gets later, and depending on what channels you watch on television. But when was the last time you saw a commercial for dental dams, female condoms? The majority of people don't even know that there's such a thing as a dental dam, let alone that they should be used. And which I think shows even more bias, because it's really the only necessary protection for lesbians, because they don't need male condoms, because generally lesbians don't have penises and they can't get each other pregnant. But you can still pass diseases through your vagina and like an open sore in your mouth. You can still get AIDS, you can still get gonorrhea or whatever else. And then you have another common form of birth control, which is an IUD, which is an intrauterine device, which is just a little T-shaped thing that your doctor sticks in your uterus that usually contains either copper or hormones. And at the end are these little two transparent strings that hang down, which are just mainly for women to make sure it hasn't moved. And there are actually only two types available in the United States, one of which is Mirena, which releases hormones for up to 5 years, and the other is Paragard Copper, which contains copper and can be worn for up to 12 years, versus the 5 Mirena is available for. And it basically just prevents an egg from being fertilized. But the thing is, well, once again, like birth control pills, IUDs don't offer any prevention against STDs, but it has quite a few complications, and there aren't that many, but they're more serious. It can cause anemia, because oftentimes it will lead to heavier flow in a woman's menstrual cycle, which can lead to, anemia, and it can cause worse menstrual cramps, and a lot of women who use Mirena have similar to the birth control side effects, and then taking it in or putting it in and taking it out can be quite painful, but it can also cause, and these are all really, really rare, but they can still occur. There is uterine puncture, expulsion, which would mean it would be expelled from the body, or you can get an infection in your fallopian tubes, and I don't know why pregnant, and if it doesn't, if it malfunctions, which any form of birth control you're using that isn't a condom should be used in conjunction with a condom, if not to prevent STDs. Yeah. And then I just think it's ridiculous that there's so much just focus, and if you think about it, it just shows kind of a male bias, because men don't get pregnant. Men don't have to worry about anything other than they're supposed to, remember to carry around a condom. And even then, if you were a girl, you should still have one, because you can't expect a guy to always have one. But society doesn't want women to get pregnant at a young age. But there are all these ridiculous side effects for, the things that keep you from getting pregnant. You could get a blood clot in your brain. What's worse? Pregnancy? Blood clot in your brain. Blood clot in your brain. And I think my mom's right. I think that if men got pregnant, there would be more focus on trying to find a safe way of dealing with this. Because we do live in a vastly patriarchal society, unfortunately. And yeah. And I'm not saying I dislike men or anything stupid like that. It is my personal belief that there would be safe, legal birth control, because this would be of more concern to society. Because, men are the head of the family and all that crap. So everyone, have a wonderful week. Don't get sunburned. It's not fun.